Have you had to work remotely within the past 2 years? While working remotely may have been new to some people, entrepreneurs with geographically distributed teams have been working remotely for a long time. The truth is, a lot of people want to work remotely. In 2017, a study found that the average worker would accept 8% less pay for the option to work from home. But still, no one thought that so much of the workforce would have to work remotely so suddenly. Now that a lot of people are working from home, it's important to recognize how communication changes when working remotely. Today we'll be discussing asynchronous communication and how it affects the future of remote work. I'm Raid here with Jotform. Let's get into it. The good news is that working from home did not prove to be as difficult as anticipated for many people. Many have found that they thrive when working from home, and office leaders are able to manage their teams remotely. But there are still a lot of perks to working together in the office. One of the many perks to working in an office is that you're able to gather everyone together until they solve a problem. Employees can work together in real time and figure out a solution quickly. But when everyone is working from home, then every part of the decision-making process has to be meticulously planned. This means that leaders have to ensure that everyone is on the same page and that all information is shared with decision makers in a timely fashion. When working from home, a lot of teams rely on asynchronous communication. This involves sending messages and information without expecting an immediate response. In order to successfully manage a remote team, it's important to master asynchronous communication. And to have effective asynchronous communication, your team has to settle on which communication tools everyone will utilize. It's much easier to use common tools so that everyone on your team already knows what they are doing. This can make collaborating more effective and increase their productivity. A research study published in the Harvard Business Review found that when one organization began mandating the use of common IT tools, the employees who required approvals from their supervisors saw an additional 3% increase in productivity. When your employees have a good understanding of the tools that they are using, they are able to be more productive and get more work done. So, you're probably wondering, which tools should you use? Today we have compiled 5 different tools that you can use to make asynchronous communication easier for you and your team. First, we have public threads. Slack has become the standard communication tool for a lot of business teams. Though it is very convenient, it does have its own set of drawbacks. Doist is a company with over 65 team members across 26 countries and 15 time zones. They did not have the best experience using Slack. They said that their Slack conversations began to take over more and more of their time. Most of these communication tools follow an asynchronous chat model, so it is expected for everyone to respond relatively quickly. This format did not work for Doist, so they created their own communication app called Twist. With Twist, their messages and threads are organized by topic in public channels. The threads stay organized and searchable, so they're great for more in-depth and long-term conversations. But if you don't want to develop your own tool, then you can try the ready-to-use software Threads. This software is used by the team at Buffer. They use asynchronous communication for their global remote team members. This way of communicating is much more inclusive of different time zones. It's also much easier to make decisions with the team and have more long-form communication. It's easy for direct chats to fall through the cracks, so keeping track of all of your conversations with public threads might be the right way to go. You can also utilize blogs for your asynchronous communication. It's not surprising that Matt Mullenweg, the chief executive of the software company that owns WordPress, uses blogging for asynchronous communication with his team. They use WordPress blogs instead of emails as a main way of communicating so that everyone in the company can access long-form notes, documents, and priorities. There are a lot of benefits to using a blog to distribute information. They are much easier to share with others, and they have a searchable interface. Blogs are a good way to post important information for your team members to consult anytime. You could also communicate via online forums and PDFs. When working from home, you can't pop over to your colleagues' desks and get feedback. Our remote environment forces us to find new ways to review each other's work. One way to have effective peer-to-peer review is with PDFs. You can both preserve the original document, and they're simple to create and distribute. For instance, workers at Jotform have been collaborating using their latest tool, Smart PDF Forms. This can convert a PDF to an online form, which can be used to both organize virtual meetings and track user feedback. Another benefit of this new feature is that it allows employees to collect information using fillable forms while still retaining the original layout of the PDF form. It's also easy to track and check responses with their searchable database. And like all forms made by Jotform, they are customizable and don't require any developer skills. Next, we have decision logs. At Zapier, they organize their asynchronous communication using a decision log called Async. This is where all of their major decisions are documented. Async is meant to keep important conversations at the forefront, whereas they might get lost in Slack forums. It's better than internal emails, and it can be used as a searchable archive for everyone on the team. That way, members can reference old discussions and keep up with company updates. Async was developed in-house, but any form of public decision log, including a shareable Google document, is a smart addition to your asynchronous communication channels. And finally, you can utilize project management software. One of the hardest parts of managing a remote team is coordinating your projects, especially when they are time sensitive. It can be very stressful to try and track down various people's progress on their respective parts of the project. Instead, many business teams like to use tools like Trello for individual task management or project management of an entire team. With Trello, you're able to assign tasks to individual team members or groups of team members. It also allows you to track deadlines. Apps like this allow you to see progress, at-a-glance status updates, as well as all relevant resources related to the project. Tools like this allow everything to be available and easy to find for all team members. So, when it comes to working remotely, it's important that your asynchronous communication is organized and effective. Some tools that you can use include public threads, blogs, online forms and PDFs, decision logs, and project management software. There are plenty of software options out there, but it's important that you choose the tools that work best for you and your team. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm Raid here with Jotform. Have a good one.